Then Usato is your classic average dude, nothing too flashy, just cruising through high school with med grades and zero interest in hanging with the overachievers. But life has other plans when he randomly ends up besties with the super popular student council president and VP, and just when he thinks he's leveling up his social game, they all get sucked into another world. While his new VIP friends are hyped up as heroes, Ken discovers he's got super rare healing magic. Sounds cool, right? Except now he's stuck in a fantasy world, catching way too much attention. Turns out being a healing mage also puts him on the radar of a completely unhinged, muscle-loving maniac in a high school buzzing with gossip. And the hottest topic is a duo that everyone swears is destined to be together. The hype is so insane that even the classroom simps have no choice but to bow down. And who are these two? Enter Inukami, the ultra-confident, all-powerful student council president, strutting down the halls like she owns the place. And trailing behind her, Kasuki, who's just happy to be this close to an actual girl. Now, Kasuki might be a bit of a dork, but at least he's got some game. The same cannot be said for Usato, our poor protagonist, who's so much of a nobody that he doesn't even get a proper intro in his own story. Zero clout, zero riz. The highlight of his day? Finding some baby birds that fell from their nest. He helps them out, tells them to pay him back later, then realizes he's literally talking to birds and decides it's time to go home. But his bad luck keeps piling up. When he gets to his locker, surprise, his umbrella is gone. He spots another one nearby and seriously considers stealing it. But being kind is the only personality trait he's got going for him, so he decides to just wait out the storm. Hours pass, and the rain is still coming down, as if mocking his patience. Just when he thinks he's doomed to become part of the school's furniture, Inukami appears, confused as to why this random guy is still hanging around. Usato, faced with the horror of actually talking to a girl, fumbles through his words like a malfunctioning robot. Eventually, she figures out that he's stranded because of the rain. She's about to let him share her umbrella, and for a brief, shining moment, Usato's life might actually turn around. But nope. Kasuki swoops in at the last second, offering Usato a spare umbrella he conveniently carries around, absolutely crushing any hopes of a romantic anime moment. Usato just got cucked by kindness. But hey, silver lining, Kasuki actually seems friendly and calls Usato his classmate, which means Usato's friend count just went from 0 to 1. Even Inukami joins in, making it a full-blown trio. Feeling like he just hit the social lottery, Usato gets to walk home with the popular kids, something the rest of the student body would sell their souls for. During the walk, Usato, in awe of his new friends, blurts out the big question: are Inukami and Kasuki actually dating? Turns out, the rumors are way overblown. They're just around each other a lot, so people assume things. Inukami then asks Usato if he has any future goals, but he's never really thought that far ahead. Kasuki finds this weird since he got asked the same question before. Inukami plays it off as casual curiosity, but it's clear she feels a bit disconnected from the world. She's so naturally talented that everything comes too easy, leaving her without any real ambition. Meanwhile, Usato has never known any success. But hey, maybe they're not so different after all. Then, out of nowhere, things take a turn for the Isekai. Kasuki and Inukami suddenly freeze, claiming they hear church bells. Usato hears nothing, because the Isekai gods clearly didn't put his name on the list. Before he can process what's happening, a giant magic circle forms beneath them, and bam, teleported. 1 second, they're walking home in the rain. The next, they're in a medieval-looking palace, staring at a king. While Kasuki and Usato are still buffering, Inukami is absolutely losing her mind with excitement. The king, who introduces himself as Lloyd, explains that they've been summoned as heroes to fight the Demon Lord. Inukami is practically drooling over the fantasy RPG vibes, but Kasuki isn't having it. He had a life, a family, and he would very much like to go home. Unfortunately, the summoning spell is one way. They're stuck. Kasuki tries to argue, but then he remembers he's in a room full of armed guards. The king kneels before them, swearing that he'll find a way to send them back, but asks for their help in the meantime. Inukami is eating this up, but Usato, who, let's not forget, wasn't even supposed to be here, starts wondering what this means for him. Time for the magical aptitude test. Each of them places their hand on a magic orb to reveal their elemental affinity. Inukami goes first. Her power glows bright yellow, signaling lightning magic and massive magical reserves. Next up, Kasuki. His glows pure white, the ultra-rare light magic, perfect for fighting demons. And then there's Usato. All he wants is something useful. Anything that'll keep him from being a complete side character. The orb glows green. Before he can ask what that means, the king and his assistant freak out. Usato's confused. What's the big deal? Turns out, green magic means healing, which is crazy rare. Even worse, there's one other person with this power, and apparently she's major bad news. Right on cue, she kicks open the throne room doors. Everyone looks terrified, except Usato, who has no clue who this lady is. She introduces herself as Rose, captain of the kingdom's rescue squad. The king, trying to keep things cool, tells her Usato is just some random guy who got pulled in by accident. She buys it. Later, when Usato finally asks what's so special about his magic, he makes the critical mistake of saying it within earshot of Rose. The moment she hears that his magic is green, She immediately decides he's hers. The king panics and orders his assistant to get Usato out of there, launching him into a high-speed escape bubble. But Rose is built different. She chases him down, punches straight through the bubble, and claims her prize. The king can do nothing but watch as Usato gets kidnapped. When Katsuki and Anukami hear what happened, they're concerned. Is he in danger? The king reassures them that he won't die, but he might suffer irreparable psychological damage. See, healing magic is rare, and Rose is determined to train him. But her training methods are, let's just say, they're not OSHA compliant. Usato wakes up surrounded by 5 enormous, terrifying men who immediately pin him against a wall. He is, at this moment, rethinking every life choice that led him here. Rose casually roundhouse kicks one of them, telling them not to scare him, and then cheerfully announces that she'll be personally overseeing his training. Translation: he's doomed. He figures he'll just sleep it off and see what happens. Usato wakes up the next day, half expecting to be back in his old world, but no, he's still here, still stuck in this insane place. As he groggily gets up, the rescue squad members poke their heads in, letting him know he's got visitors. Confused, he heads outside and is surprised to see Kazuki, Inui, and Miniki. Apparently, they were worried when they heard some green-haired lady just yoinked him out of nowhere. But seeing that he's alive, and only slightly traumatized, they relax a little. He reassures them that he's fine. But then it hits him. Today is training day with Rose, and Rose is basically a tank in human form. He might have survived whatever happened yesterday, but there's no guarantee he'll still be breathing by tomorrow. When he mentions how terrifying his training is, Kazuki and Inui ask if it's really that bad. Oh, it's worse. Much worse. But weirdly enough, Usato has already accepted his fate. If he wants to stop being dead weight, he has no choice but to push through. Inui actually finds his resolve inspiring and promises to work hard on her own training too, which lifts his spirits a bit. As they chat about how cool their training might get, the two eventually head back, leaving Usato to ponder just how quickly they've adjusted to this world. He hopes that one day he can be strong enough to stand beside them. Right on cue, Rose appears, scaring the life out of him. She tosses him a diary, because nothing says this is going to suck like being handed a diary before training even starts. After breakfast, training begins, and surprisingly, it's not as bad as he thought. Just magic basics, learning to sense it in his body. Easy enough. Then she hands him a massive book. The problem? It's written in a language he doesn't understand, but when he opens it, he can read it, thanks to some automatic translation spell cast on summoned heroes. Day 2, though. A complete nightmare. Running. Endless running. The moment his muscles give out, Rose just slaps him with healing magic and forces him to keep going. Apparently, death isn't even a valid excuse to stop. By day 5, he's still running. Day 6, he slips in the rain but finally sees the glow of healing magic in his hand. Too bad he's in too much pain to be happy about it. By the 7th day, he's accepted his suffering. He's running, getting his butt kicked, and learning how to heal himself purely out of survival instinct. Eventually, his body adapts. He can now run indefinitely without getting tired. Not that it matters. Rose is still pushing him to the brink. 3 weeks in, Kazuki and Inui visit again, only to find Usato doing push-ups with a 10-ton rock on his back, and Rose sitting on top of it. Usato, now cocky, tells her she's so light that it's no big deal. Big mistake. She casually adds another rock. Nearly crushed, he barely holds on, healing himself and pushing through. Rose is thrilled. At this rate, she might actually take him onto the battlefield sooner than planned. During a lunch break, he learns that Kazuki and Inui have been training under actual teachers. None of this survival horror boot camp. Inui, meanwhile, is getting way too into Usato's new rock-hard abs. But before she gets even thirstier, Usato changes the subject. That night, as he bathes, he reflects on how far he's come. He's faster, stronger, better. But is it enough? The next day, Rose tells him they're going on a trip, excited. He follows her until she throws him into a forest and tells him he can't come home until he kills a grand grizzly. One small problem: nobody ever actually taught him how to fight. As he plummets toward the ground, he realizes something. He refuses to die like this. He braces for impact, lands probably breaking a few bones, and gets ready to survive. After barely surviving yet another brush with death, Usato takes a moment to recover and accept his reality. He's stuck in this forest until he kills a grand grizzly. Technically, he could just leave, but then he'd have to deal with Rose. And honestly, he'd rather take his chances with the bear. It's just a 2-meter-tall murder machine with razor-sharp claws. Like any rational person faced with overwhelming danger, he does the Joestar family's secret technique. He runs. He figures all that forced marathon training should give him an edge. But unfortunately, this bear also believes in cardio. It's gaining on him fast. Realizing he can't outrun it forever, Usato remembers all the insane training he survived and builds up enough confidence to turn around. "Come at me, bro," he yells. He turns right back around and keeps running like his life depends on it. Just when he thinks it's over, he hears rushing water, a waterfall. Desperate, he goes full anime protagonist and leaps off the cliff, crashing into the river below. Miraculously, he survives. The bears don't bother waiting to see if he resurfaces and just wander off. Usato drags himself out of the water, completely exhausted. He hangs up his soaked clothes to dry and finally checks his supplies. A knife, some water, and a hunk of rock-hard bread that could double as a weapon. Still no clue how he's going to take down a grand grizzly, but that's a problem for future Usato. Right now, he just needs sleep. The next morning, he starts strategizing. First step, finding the bear's den. He explores the forest, marking his path to avoid getting lost. Eventually, he finds claw marks on a tree, meaning a bear is nearby. He grips his knife, preparing for a fight, but instead, he locks eyes with a tiny, injured bunny. The bunny stares at him. He stares back. Not exactly the ferocious enemy I was expecting. Even though he's in a survival scenario, he can't just leave it like this. So, he heals its wounded paw, and the bunny happily hops away. Or not, because it immediately starts following him. Annoyed, he tries to shoo it off, but the bunny refuses to leave. Finally, in frustration, he jokes, "Unless you can show me where a grand grizzly is, you're just dead weight." The bunny knows exactly where they are. Following his unexpected guide, Usato is led straight to the bear's den. Inside, they're all peacefully snoozing. As much as he wants to attack now, he decides to play it safe and observe instead. On the way back to camp, the bunny keeps following him. By day 3, things take a very unfortunate turn. With no clean water, he's forced to drink untreated river water. His stomach declares full rebellion, and healing magic, completely useless against digestive disasters. Just when he thinks he's about to die on a makeshift toilet, the bunny comes to the rescue again, leading him to a clean water source. However, while he's drinking, the bunny suddenly freaks out and climbs a tree. Sensing that's a very bad sign, Usato scrambles up after it. Moments later, a gigantic snake slithers by. Fast forward 4 days, and he's finally over the terror. He still watches the bears, and even finds them kind of cute. But reality check. If he doesn't kill a grand grizzly, Rose won't let him leave. So tomorrow, he's doing it. Morning comes, and the bunny is not happy. It desperately tries to stop him. Normally, he'd ignore it, but something about its reaction makes him hesitate, so he waits. When he finally reaches the den, he's too late. The grand grizzly is already dead. Usato stares at the body. Huge bite marks cover it. The only thing in this forest capable of that, the snake. And it didn't even eat the bear. It killed for fun. Nearby, a baby bear nudges its parents, trying to wake them. Usato hates losing, but he hates seeing that baby suffer even more. Forget the grand grizzly. He's taking down that snake. He tracks the monster's den, finding the baby bear already there, scarred and injured from its failed revenge attempt. Usato is scared, but nothing is scarier than Rose, so this is fine. The snake nearly bites his face off. He barely dodges, managing to stab its eye, creating a blind spot. But the snake expected that. It lures him in, bites his arm, and floods him with poison. Good thing he's an expert in being poisoned now. Using healing magic, he neutralizes it and charges again. The baby bear, already on its shonen power-up arc, holds the snake down. Usato leaps onto its head and delivers a skull-cracking punch, dragging his blade through its brain. It finally stops moving. Usato collapses, exhausted. The baby bear stumbles over, grateful. Then the snake respawns. Usato is done. His magic is drained. He can't move. And just as he prepares to curse Rose's name one last time, Rose skydives into the fight and one-shots the snake. Turns out, she was watching the whole time. The bunny, her pet. She never actually expected him to kill a grand grizzly. She just wanted him to gain experience. But since the snake changed everything, she's seriously impressed. He's earned his place beside her on the battlefield, and with war on the horizon, he's going to need every skill he's learned. Usato is finally back to normal life, and honestly, he's just happy to have a bed again. Early that morning, he heads to the pens to wake up his big, blue, and very fluffy companion, Blur. The bear groggily wakes up, and Usato offers him some fruit he found in the dining hall. Turns out, Blur loves it. Usato, always skeptical of food that looks too healthy, takes a bite himself. It actually tastes way better than it looks. Q, the bunny. The same one that spied on him for Rose and totally betrayed him. It wants some fruit. Usato wants to hold a grudge, but it's a very cute bunny, so he caves. But now Blur gets jealous, so he hands over more fruit. Enter Rose, watching all of this nonsense unfold and judging him hard for naming the bear Blur. More importantly, she tells him the king has approved funding to care for the bear. Great news. Except that means Blur has to pull his weight. Translation? Usato is the one literally carrying Blur for training. Rose explains this is to simulate running through a battlefield with an injured person on his back, just as Usato starts to regret all of his life choices. The rest of the rescue squad shows up to make things worse. Their job, recreate battlefield conditions, which apparently means ambushing him for an entire hour, complete with sneak attacks, poop water, and other horrific surprises. 6 hours in, Usato collapses. He knows his endurance should last longer, but his body has completely given out. Rose explains why. It's not just physical exhaustion, it's the mental toll of battlefield stress. And there's no way around it. You just have to get used to it. After healing him up, she sends him to train in town, running around with Blur. As expected, the people stare. But once they recognize the dusty rescue squad uniform, they shrug it off. They've seen worse. That's the end of the recap. Let us know if you want part 2 by leaving a comment in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to avoid being virgin forever. See you guys in the next video.